Chapter 2.6, we're going to solve the equations by multiplying or dividing. Solve equations by multiply or divide. Okay, let's talk about what the goal is. Now, don't write this, but take a look at this problem. Notice I have an equation like this. I use distributive property. Then I combined like terms. Then I added 6. Then I divided by -10. And my answer was -3. X is -3. This is the solution. It's the only number that I can put in here, so the left side equals the right side. This is the solution. Notice that when I solve this, I keep my equals lined up, and I show step by step. This is why you want to show your steps going down the page, not sideways, going down. Also, what's the goal? Look at the very bottom here. I got X all alone. See, there's a left side. There's a left side and the right side. Our goal is to get X all by itself. And then the answer will appear on the other side. That's the goal, to get X by itself. So the goal is to get the variable alone. To get variable alone. Okay, how do we do that? We use inverse operations, just like we did before. We use inverse operations. What does inverse mean? Opposite. What does operations mean? That's plus, minus, times, and divide. Those are operations. So we're going to do the opposite operation. To get the variable alone, this is how we do it. Excuse me. Now the last time we did inverse operations, let me just show you this real quick. Don't write anything. But for example, what we did, if we have a -6, I would add 6 to both sides. See that? And that's gone. And then your answer is 10. And over here, inverse operations, the opposite of +7 is to subtract 7. Subtract 7, I do that to both sides. And I get X equals, what's that? -4? Okay, so you need to do the opposite. That's what inverse operations is. Do the opposite. Before we get any more equations, let me just show you a quick example. If I have 2x, 2 being the coefficient, that's 2 times, so I need to divide by 2. See, I have to do the opposite of times. That's 2 times x. I would have to divide by 2. Divide by 2. Here's another quick example. If I have x divided by 4. X divided by 4. I have to do the opposite of divide. The opposite of divide is times. So I'd have to multiply 4. Times it by 4. So see that? You have to do the opposite operation. This one's times, you have to divide. This one's divide, you have to times. Okay, and don't write this, but before, remember when it was -6, we added 6. When it was +7, we subtracted 7. So you have to do the opposite operation. That's why it's called inverse operations. Okay, here's our first example. By the way, I'm going to put 3 of them going across. So I wrote the problem, and then I'm writing the problem again so we can show what to do with it. So I'm writing the problem twice. So this is 5 times x equals -20. 5 times x equals -20. All right, so I want to do the opposite operation. So if it's times, I want to divide. Divide by that number, 5. So over here, I have to do the same thing. divide by 5. Remember, what you do to one side, you have to do the other. This is 5 times, so I divide by 5. So this cancels out because that's just 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And you're left with x equals, and 5 goes into 20 4 times, and there's 1 negative, so it's negative. And there's your answer. Okay, you can go down the paper or sideways. I'm going to go sideways on mine. We'll do a total of 6 examples. 7, actually.